Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Devin Thomas back with another episode of Unscripted. Hope you've all been having a good week. I've been having a great week. Had a good weekend, got out and about, did some nice shit. It was nice. I did spend a lot of time this week writing, though, per usual. And yeah, I feel like I've gotten into a really good habit of just writing every day, which is like, you would think sounds pretty obvious if you're writing movies and any type of writing, but it's hard to just like sit down and, you know, face the blank page sometimes and actually get started. And I think like, it's kind of what I want to talk about right now, at least, is, you know, getting started. I've talked to so many people who tell me like, oh, we're going to get something going, or like once I get to, you know, X, Y, and Z, that's when I'm going to start doing stuff. And like, I used to be a lot like that. And I think, man, it's just, you're holding yourself back. I think if you really want to get anything done, I don't care if it's getting your laundry done or your fucking screenplay done, you got to just take action. You know, action's the most important thing in life. And I actually have some quotes. I like actually put up some fucking notes on my laptop because I usually don't do this. I'm just like paraphrasing a quote, which is like the worst way to tell it. But this quote, "The magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding," Chris Williamson. I think that's really important because a lot of the, I think, people get very upset with themselves and are like, why aren't things working out? Why am I not able to get what I want? And it's like, man, it's really just like anything in life. If you just do the thing that's hard to do, that's what's going to get you to where you want to go. And like, I think a lot of people are fucking afraid to do the hard thing, or even, you know, overturn the first stone on the path to success. It's hard. Life is hard sometimes. And like, I used to be in that mentality where I felt like not even like a victim, but I felt like, why am I not getting what I want? And it's like, once I started just taking accountability for myself and like realizing like, hey, like no one's coming to save me. I have to, if I want to be a film director or a writer or any of this shit, like if I want to fucking be a screenwriter, I have to write the script. I have to start doing it and just write it. I don't care if I write 1 page a day. And in 90 days, I got a fucking script 3 months later. That's not how I write, but like, I know that's some people, they use that method of like, I'll write 1 page a day and eventually I'll have a script done. If that works for you, fucking do it. But what I'm saying is just taking action at all is so important in life. You're never going to get what you want if you don't take action. And like, you know, no one's that much smarter than you. I think a lot of people think, oh, like somebody's just so special and important. And like a lot of people are. There's great artists, there's great, you know, inventors, fucking people of all kinds and walks of life. But really, it comes down to you taking action and taking life into your own hands. That's really what if you want anything in life, you have to do it. So I know it's like a little, not even heavy, but like a little intense to start it off. But I don't know. I really think like just doing the work is the best thing you can do. You know, if you want to learn how to use a camera, go out, invest in yourself. It's going to cost you a little money. Fucking buy a camera, learn how to use it, read the manual, do everything. Learn how to use the thing backwards and forwards until you feel like you are the master of whatever fucking the camera, or you could be anything. If you like to sew your sewing machine, you're the master of that. You're a baker, you're the master of your baking tools in your kitchen. You know how everything fucking works. You're the best at that. So yeah, I think that's really important for people to keep in mind. Like just mastering your craft is in like the work, like actually going through the experience and learning how to do something. And experience is so important on that note. You know, it's intimidating when you're first starting out to just, you know, let's just say for filmmaking, it's scary to be like, oh, like I want to be the camera guy. Well, I don't know anything about cameras. Like when you're starting out and you're like, well, I don't want to be the guy who fucks it up because I don't know anything. But you know what? Making those mistakes and fucking up is how you're going to become the best, you know, director of photography, or learn how to operate or pull focus or, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Writing a bad screenplay and then going back and redrafting it until it gets better and better is how you become a good screenwriter. You don't just write a perfect script and you're like, oh, it's done. Like, I'm never going back to change a fucking word. It's the most arrogant shit I've ever heard. You spend time with it. You get to know it. You get to fucking, you know, live with the work and get familiar with it. Sometimes you write some, you know, gold sure off the bat, and there's some shit you're just not going to change. But like, you know, rarely, even the best will tell you, that's not how it works. I have another quote up here too, and I've used this one before, but I love Mark Twain. So I think this one's very relevant to the same conversation that we're having right now. The secret to getting ahead is getting started. It's so simple, but yeah, it's really that fucking easy. Like if you want to get started on a project, just start working on it. I think for a long time, and look at, like, I'm talking about this like it's so fucking obvious. It's like, yeah, it's obvious to me now because I used to make the mistake of not capitalizing on the now, which is like really, really important. Like there is no, like, even if you have a goal and you're like, I think in a year from now I'm gonna do something, it's like, well, fuck, a year's a long time, man. Like, can you condense that timeline? Try and figure out the, shortest and most efficient path of least resistance of A to B, because you do not want to be fucking fighting against yourself and time and money. And anyways, it's a whole ball of wax. But yeah, I think just getting started is the only way you can get ahead. I think if you can't just get things into motion, you're gonna have a hard time just with anything in life. So, there's no point in waiting. I think you need to be a certain age to do something, or you need to have a certain validation. When we went to go and make Peninsula Nights, I think we all validated each other. The actors trusted me. They knew that I could direct, and they trusted the script. I knew they could act. I knew that this wasn't going to be like, we're not going to go out there and just be like, hey, like, Devin's bad at filming and the movie came out like shit. Or like, oh, they're not good at acting and it's not going to, no, like it was like mutual trust that, hey, we all know what we're fucking doing. We're all good at this. It's a collaboration. Let's all put our heads together and go out there. And it's hard fucking work. People think filmmaking is glamorous and shit. It's not that fucking glamorous. At the end of the day, it's hard fucking work. Peninsula Nights, for example, was made with blood, sweat, and tears. That movie got made because we wanted it. We willed it into existence. There was no one else coming to be like, hey, like, we're going to write you a check so you can go out and make your little indie. Like, it's just not fucking like that. It was really like, it's the true grit of going out and making a fucking movie and just doing the work that had to be done. And, it took us 8 months. It's a long fucking time to shoot a 90-minute movie. And we persevered and against all odds made the motherfucker. And now it is the complete, I'd say, like, the basis or whatever you want to call it, the groundwork of like where we are now, because that movie changed us and it made us much more understanding of how not only independent filmmaking works, but how independent distribution works, and how building your brand and who you are through filmmaking and content and all that. It all is so much more than just making the movie. And but the movie is the main thing. Like, that's the thing that brought us to these conclusions and like where we are now. So I don't want to get too philosophical with it, but yeah, I think it's just, and that goes back to my main point. It was in the work we were avoiding for so long, or like couldn't get to. Like, there was a lot of like building blocks towards actually making a movie, and like you go through those steps. You don't just jump right into it. We had to like, really like spend time with our equipment and really like just master the craft before going out and trying to make like a feature. And that doesn't mean like we were making short films and like, blah, 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 blah. Like, we were just making stuff all the time. And that was getting started for us, was just going out and doing that. And then going out and making the movie was just a continuation of getting started. There would be small dormant little hibernation, or like, hey, like, what? We shot some stuff. We're just going to focus on like our editing skills or some shit, like just building block stuff. So, and I say this because like, this is not just like, oh, this is what I've been doing recently. I'm talking about like fucking 10, 15 years of just going out and experimenting and not being afraid to fail and failing up, because that's like the best way to fail, is going from, I don't really know what I'm doing, to like, I think I know what I'm doing. And then just, starting to feel like when you go to a set and you assess it and you're like, I think I know exactly what I'm doing. And that's the place you want to get to. And I don't think you'll ever stop learning. And, I'm not, I'd like to say I'm a master of the craft, but like, I think that I'm always going to be a lifelong student of the craft, regardless of how much expertise I might find myself, having in a field of anything. There's always more to learn. So yeah, but that all comes once again from getting started. And I think, even just in like the sense of getting started, like, you need to just, be in a place where you feel like you can also like do, the work and not feel like you're like stressed out or like financially behind or beat up physically. You gotta focus on your health, your wealth. But really, I mean, before you even like get started on like the career, you need to make sure that you feel like, I'm not going to be so stressed out about money, I can't go out and like do my dream. You got to have capital, and like operating capital, especially when you're doing arts. You got to have some money on hand, because it's not cheap to go out and get your equipment. It's not cheap to, spend some, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a couple months not working. Like, and that's honestly, you may not ever not work another job while doing filmmaking and make sure like you have your like shit set up. But like that's so important is like, you know, make sure you're financially set. And this goes into any endeavor you're doing. Make sure you have like, you don't want to be like running around like a chicken with its head cut off, like about money. Like that's, you know, straight up. And then two, if you have bad habits, like I'm not judging anyone, but it's like, make sure you like take care of yourself. Like don't fucking, you know, go out every weekend and just get smashed and fucking have no money and then feel like shit and be like, oh, like I went to the bar and spent like fucking $300 and I feel like shit on Monday. It's like, yeah, like if you, you know, do that every fucking week, you're never going to get anything fucking done. And hey, look, maybe it works for some people, but like, I personally think that's not a like optimal way to be fucking operating. And I'm not hating. It's just, I think if, you know, you ask any of the best of their craft or anything, they're definitely not fucking around wasting any time. They're trying to stay healthy so they can just go out and work. And like, I mean, I can tell you right now, even Stevie, this week, he had his probably past 12, 14 days, he had really bad jaw pain. And I think it was like a slight TMJ case, maybe not even slight, it's like severe because he had to go and see like a fucking expensive ass oral surgeon and all this shit. But even him being down for almost 2 weeks, like I can tell you right now, just like being well, you take it for granted when you are well. It's great. You feel like, oh, we'll go out and we'll go shoot some fucking test footage. We'll do this. We'll do that. Hey, let's go scheme up and like work on the next thing we're going to do for like our filmmaking endeavors. Man, he's even told me, he's like, it's like depressing to not be able to like just be in like at 100% and ready to work. And imagine like this happened to him randomly. He didn't want this. This just came upon, we're not sure. We have some theories, but this just came out of nowhere. And he was just like, this is so shitty. I wish I was at 100% to just be able to go out and do like the filmmaking shit like I normally do. He had auditions he had to do. He had a bunch of shit that he had to put off because of his health. And yeah, you take it for granted. But now imagine every weekend going out and like potentially putting yourself at like risk to not feel 100% by either drinking or going out and getting fucked up, whatever it is. It's just not worth it. It puts you in a position where you're just going to feel like shit by default. You know, so like take care of yourself and fucking try and, you know, actually think about your, you know, just your well-being and your health. Don't go out and fuck around and put yourself in a position where you're just not going to feel good for no reason. It's just not fair to you. But anyways, I'll get off that tangent. Yeah, I also fucking during Peninsula Nights had like severe back pain. It held us down for like 2 months we were out. That's what I was trying to fucking think of. Sorry. For 2 months we were out. And we couldn't shoot. And it's like, well, 2 months is a long fucking time. And like, there was times when I was down because like my back hurt so bad. I was really like, we're never going to fucking finish this movie. I'm never going to have a done feature. And I'm going to let everyone down just because of my health. And, you know, it's just not fair to, you know, anyone. Let's just say this. It's obviously not fair to you when you're in fucking physical pain. But like, in general, you don't want to be putting your health at stake, period. It's just not worth it. It's just, it could waste time. It could hurt you. It could fucking fuck a lot of shit up. So like try and take care of yourself and stay at 100%. I think it's pretty sound advice. It sounds like fucking, and I sound like fucking dad advice, but it's like straight up like, hey, drink your fucking water, avoid alcohol, drink some fucking coffee. You know, I think if you want to do something, go and smoke some bud or some shit. I don't think that's going to be holding you back. Maybe not at 100%, but like, anyways, I digress. So yeah, little Hollywood talk. Trump is saying he's doing this 100% tariff on foreign films to bring production back to the U.S. Since 2020, domestic film TV output has dropped nearly 40% due to COVID strikes and global competition. The proposed tariff aims to restore industry jobs and revitalize LA, but experts are divided on its effectiveness. Well, I've seen more than one person talk about how much, including myself, how much of the business has run away from Los Angeles. And look, I don't think Hollywood's intentionally trying to tank itself. I think it's just they've worked a lot of agendas. There's been a lot of angles, and it's nobody's fault. I think it's just they're trying to please and hit more than one audience at a time. Maybe they're kind of playing like Moneyball, where they're just looking at the fucking stats, and they're like, hey, like we got people here, we got people there, we've got viewers that want this, we got viewers that want that, and maybe they just try to like put it all into their fucking blender and make it work. And like, you know, some of it did. Like, I haven't watched that many Disney movies, but like I saw like Lightyear. I remember that movie was super controversial, and I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but I watched it and I thought it was just fine. Honestly, I actually liked it. Like And it was just, there was so much like negative fucking media around some of these things. And it's like, is it going to even be good? And it's like, it's really just like, it's just a movie at the end of the day. It's not really trying to do anything but tell a story. So, and you know, you saw Disney had like, whatever the fucking bomb with Snow White, but like, that's kind of besides the point, I guess, in this situation, because we're talking tariff talk here, 100%. Will this bring more business back to Los Angeles? That's the real question. Or at least the United States, domestic production. I certainly think so. It's just a fucking tax break at the end of the day. You're going to have people wanting to bring productions to America because it'll be a little cheaper when it comes down to the bottom line. And it's like a simple, easy business decision. Do I think it's like bad? No. Do I think it's good? Sure. If it helps make more movies here, I don't think it's going to hurt anybody as much as it's going to help more domestic, production. So not mad about that. That was really the talk of the town this week and this morning. And yeah, we'll see what happens with that, but I think it'll be all good. Also, I saw that Trump wants to open up Alcatraz, which it's pretty iconic, but fuck, who knows? That'll be be crazy if they have Alcatraz open again. It's funny just because Alcatraz it's not quite local to my area, but like I've been there many times. Not many times. I haven't been there many times. I've been there like on the fucking boat trip, the little tourist thing once or I think just once, honestly, but I've seen it from the fucking pier. It's impossible not to see Alcatraz when you're in San Francisco. I've seen it many times, and it's been the, center of a lot of pop cultural, like, literature and movies and shit. I mean, Escape from Alcatraz, it's one of my favorite classics. Clint Eastwood, great fucking movie. I think, what's his fucking name? Let me Google his name. The guy who fucking directed, what was this movie? Escape from Alcatraz. Sorry, I don't have a guy in a chair. I have to do this myself. Don Siegel. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Don Siegel's also in fucking Play Misty, but yeah, he's kind of like Clint's mentor. But yeah, classic movie. The Rock with Nick Cage and fucking Sean Connery. It's it's an iconic spot. It's known for all the famous fucking people that have stayed there, Al Capone and shit. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I think it would be iconic if they open it back up. Maybe not fiscally responsible. I don't know. But hey, that's kind of like the update in that fucking neck of the woods. Yeah, and as far as anything I watched this week, I revisited some Robert Rodriguez's stuff just because we were like, I was like talking about it on the podcast last week. I saw him on Joe Rogan, and I went back and revisited some of my favorites. I really, one of my favorite Robert Rodriguez movies is From Dusk Till Dawn, and I just started watching it, and damn, like, I've been watching so much modern shit lately, going back and actually watching something made during the 90s, just in that, fashion. It was very gritty. It felt very alive for sure, not to sound like the fucking guy, Matt Remick from the studio, but you could really feel there's like a palpability to film stock it's its own thing, for sure. But yeah, it was gritty, and it felt like they're really stitching shots together, just like, fucking, hey, we got this clip here, let's just fucking glue these fucking pieces of celluloid together. And obviously it's probably cut in a digital editor or whatever, but you could feel it. It still felt very like OG filmmaking. So that was really cool just to watch. And yeah, didn't really see any of his other shit, but yeah, revisiting From Dusk Till Dawn. Like, also I watching it this time, I was like, why didn't fucking Quentin Tarantino just be an actor? Like, this might be up for debate. I personally think he's a good actor, and I think he'd probably agree. I think he wanted to be an actor before a director, and moving into being an actor in some of his own stuff, he's always, I thought, top performer, always good. But damn, and From Dusk Till Dawn, he plays a fucking scary serial killer kind of psychopath, and I really wish he would just act more. I mean, he's a little older now. He could probably find roles that fit and that are suitable to him, but he should have just acted more, he's good. He's so passionate about movies. So when you see him like in a movie acting, he's excited to be there, and he gives it his all, truly. He puts it all out there on the fucking table for you. So that's pretty cool. So if you haven't seen it, by the way, go see From Dusk Till Dawn. I guess this new movie Sinners, a lot of people are comparing it to From Dusk Till Dawn. I haven't seen it. I'll try and go to the theater and catch it. But yeah, I guess it kind of just ties in with that. Anyways, as far as shows and other shit I've been watching, been watching a lot of like, shit on Tubi, just kind of like B movies for fun. The biggest thing I watched this week was the Righteous Gemstones finale. I watched that last night because, it's kind of one of those things with social media now. if you wait even the fucking before as like the minute the episode comes out on HBO, they start just dropping like they're like, it's been a great fucking like past 5 or 6 years on social media, all the actors and shit. And you're like, well, fuck, dude, like let me watch the episode before you post your like the episode was so great or like we're gonna miss you post. And I get it, like that's their personal fucking shit. But as a viewer, you're like, hey, like don't post the fucking funny joke from the last episode or like that screenshot that just like kind of like, oh, that's what happens. Like it didn't happen this time, but there's some episodes in the past I was like following one of these fucking, I don't remember what actor from Gemstones, but anyways, on that note, I think they did a great job ending the show. I don't want to do any spoilers, but if you've been watching that show and following along, I thought it was a perfect ending. You know, it buttons it up. You know, the characters are going to be probably pretty okay at the end of the show. And yeah, you know, it's always good when they get the loose ends and bow time and it, you know, sends them off in a good way. But the reason I don't want to really reveal anything about this episode is I know that Stevie hasn't watched the newest ones because he had this TMJ shit and he wasn't feeling well. And he's going to fucking listen to this podcast like before he watches this shit. I promise you. But I will spoil this one. So if you're listening, dude, that's on you. But the Studio, I don't know if you guys have been watching The Studio air. That's the other show I've really been like enjoying. And you know what? Like, fucking Seth Rogen, like I said, he's just consistent as fuck. I've been a fan of his for a long time. And actually The Studio, I think is some of his best work. And the latest episode was about, it kind of is a tie-in to the first episode of the show where Bryan Cranston's character, I can't remember his name, I think Mr. Mill, he's like the CEO or head of the studio, whatever. I think he's actually the CEO of the studio, of the company, but Matt's the head of the studio. Besides the point, he's acquiring the rights to Kool-Aid, the fucking, you know, powdered beverage. And in this new episode of The Studio, the Matt Remick character is worried that they get their board out and they have all the actors up there and they see like, they got like Ice Cube as the Kool-Aid Man and they got like Josh Duhamel and these other actors as the, like the family. I can't remember what they're called. I think it's called the Parches. Mrs. Kool-Aid's like, I think it's Sandra Oh. So it's like a diverse cast, but then they start looking at, they're like, well, Ice Cube's the only black guy in the cast and only black people like Kool-Aid. They start making like really like gigantic racial stereotypes and like thinking like, oh my God, like we need to bring somebody else in on this. And, you know, it's just so funny. It's one of those like hot water situations that, it's just so fucking true. I think a lot of people in Hollywood are like walking on eggshells about like diversity and like, race and fucking like, types of people and trying to get everything into a box. And it was just funny because like even Hollywood, like these guys that are at the top are self-aware of these, like, I won't even call them agendas. I don't even like that word, like that, this like, you know, melting pot of people. And it's like, yeah, like it can feel a little ridiculous sometimes. And I think that's what the episode was really getting at. And it was hilarious. It was tastefully done. And like, I won't ruin the episode, but like at the end, once again, they like kind of like, you know, they have a great punchline to every episode that really says like, hey, like whatever the situation might be, some are like, oh, like this is a, oh, gotcha moment or like this or that. But this one was really like, this is ridiculous kind of thing. And like, I like that. And I think it's really cool to have like, it was almost like a unifying episode. If anything, it kind of just like puts a lot of the bullshit aside. And it's like, look, I think we're overthinking this. Like people probably aren't that judgmental and they probably don't hate each other as much as I think people have been led to believe that we hate each other. And, you know, anyways, guys, I think that's about all I've got to say. This is another episode of Unscripted. I'm Devin Thomas. I'll talk to you guys next week.